السلام عليكم. ازيكم يا شباب، عاملين ايه؟ يا رب تكونوا بخير. Today we are talking about algebra at senior 1. The first lesson is about solving quadratic equations in one variable. You have to know that you have two ways to solve a quadratic equation, algebraically and graphically. First of all, we are talking about algebraically. Algebraically consists of two ways, factorizing and general formula. Let's remind the general formula. If you want to get x equals negative b positive or negative root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Let's take an example. Example 1. Find in R the solution set of the equation x squared minus 5x minus 6 equals 0. Here I'm going to factorize. Two brackets, x squared composed of x and x, negative 6 composed of 6 times 1 or 3 times 2, but here I have negative sign, so I have two different signs. One is negative and one is positive. The biggest takes like the middle sign, negative, so it composed of 6 and 1 because the difference between them means and extremes again means equal negative 6, extremes equal positive x. If we add them, we will get negative 5x. Take every bracket equals 0, x minus 6 equals 0 and x plus 1 equals 0. So here I have to convert negative 6 to the right hand side, x equals 6 from here, and here x plus 1 equals 0. Convert positive 1 to the right hand side with the opposite sign, which is negative 1. So I have two solutions, x equals 6 and x equal negative 1. So solution set equals 6 and negative 1. Example 2. Find in R the solution set of the equation 4x squared equal 25. As we explained in our class, there are two ways. First way, convert 25 to the left hand side and factorize, or from here convert 4 by divided to the right hand side and get x squared equal 25 over 4. But we are going to solve by factorization. So two brackets, 4x squared is factorized as 2x times 2x, 25 as 5 times 5, here positive and here negative, and take this bracket equals 0 and this bracket also equals 0. 2x plus 5 equals 0, 2x minus 5 equals 0. Here I have 2x and convert positive 5 to the right hand side by opposite sign, which is negative, so I have 2x equal negative 5, and as I do here, 2x minus 5 equals 0, so 2x equals, and convert the negative 5 to the right hand side, we will get positive 5. Here I get x, divided both sides by 2, as I want x alone, I get negative 5 over 2, and from the other hand side I get x equal 5, divided 2, I will get x equal 5 over 2. I have two solutions, so the solution set is negative 5 over 2 and 5 over 2. ويت يا شباب. Make a table, negative 5, substitute by negative 5 in this equation at here, and negative 5 at here also, you will get negative 9. Substitute with negative 4, you will get negative 4. Substitute negative 3 at the equation, you get y, which is negative 1. Substitute negative 2 at the equation also you get 0, -1, -1, 0 and -4, 1 and -9, and you have to draw it. when you draw it you find the solution set is -2. وطبعا يا شباب انتوا هتوروني الرسمه في الكلاس، واللي تقف معاه الرسمه يوريها لي وهعملها له تاني في الكلاس، مفيش اي مشكله. Example 7. Find graphically in R the solution set of the equation x squared plus 2 using the interval -3 and 3. You are going to make a table. The points are -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3 because you are enclosed in this interval. You have definite points. Substitute with -3 you will get 11. Substitute with -2 you will get -6. Substitute with -1 you will get 3 and 0, 2, 1, 3, 2 and 6 and 3 and 11. And you draw it. You find no intersection with x-axis. No intersection with x-axis. So the solution set is phi. طبعا يا شباب هترسموا الرسمة دي وأي حد هيقف معاه أي حاجة في الكلاس هنحلها سوا. Example 8. Solving quadratic equation also. Solve the following equation graphically. But here you don't have the form ax squared plus bx plus c. All what you have do, you are going to make this equation in the form of quadratic. How? You have here 4x multiplying the bracket x minus 1 minus 5 equals 0. So you have to multiply 4x by x and multiply also for x with -1. You will get for x multiplying x, you will get for x squared, and here I have positive with negative sign, you will get negative sign. For x times y, you will get 4x, and here I have -5 as a constant equals 0. Now, do you have an interval? No. What are you going to do? You are going to search about the vertex. How can I get the vertex? By the rule x and y in the point of the vertex. X have a rule which is -b/2a. Here I am going to find a which is 4, b which is -4, -4, don't forget this, c also -5, and don't forget the negative sign. -b/2a equals direct substitution b which is -4, -4 you will get 4, 2a at the denominator, 2 times 4 which is 8, so I get half. Substitute half at the equation to get y at the point of the vertex. F -b/2a means f of half. Substitute half in this equation for half squared minus 4 times half, as here a minus 5. Do operation at your calculator, you get -6. So here the vertex is half, the x part which is -p/2a, y part which is -6, which is substituting half at the equation. And now draw. Put half and -6 at the middle and choose any random 2 points at the right and any random 2 points at the left. Here I choose 1 and 2, and here I choose 0 and -1. If you substitute -1 at the equation, you get y equals 3. If you substitute 0 at the equation, you get y equal -5, and 1 you get y -5, and here 2 at the equation you get 3. And plot these points on the graph, you will find as shown the points here and here and here and here. What do you notice? Where is the intersection with x-axis? Intersection here with x-axis is 1 and some. I can name it 1.7. And here what do you notice? 0 and some number, so I can say it is 0.7 but at the negative part. So solution set is -0.7 as here and 1.7 as here. Solution set is -0.7 and 1.7. Okay, my dear students, this is our first lesson. We are going to have another lesson, lesson 2. Complex numbers. complex numbers. What is complex numbers in general? We have studied before different sets. We have taken natural number, which is n, and we know that n is 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on till infinity. We have taken z, which is integers from negative infinity, included 0, included all the positive numbers, and set of rational numbers, fractions, and set of real numbers. Before studying the complex number in details, we first recognize the imaginary number I. What is I? The imaginary number I is defined as a number whose square is negative 1. So, the square of I is negative 1. So, I alone is root negative 1. If you find root negative 1, this is called I. Integers power of I. We take that I equal root negative 1. So, if I am asking about I square, so I put negative 1 under the root and all squared. Root هيضيع مع الباور 2, you get negative 1. What about I3? I3 is composed of I squared multiplying by I. Here I have I squared, which is negative 1, and I, which is I power 1, which is I. So I power 3 equal I squared times I power 1, which is negative 1 times I, which is negative I. What about I power 4? I power 4 is composed of I squared multiplied by I squared, and I have here I squared, which is negative 1. So if I multiplying negative 1 times negative 1, you will get 1. What about I power 5? I power 5 is composed of I power 4 times I power 1, and I power 4 is 1, and I power 1 is I. So I power 5 equals I. What about I power 6? I power 6 is composed of I power 4 multiplying by I power 2. I power 4 I have here 1, and I power 2 I have here negative 1. So in general, we have to summarize that I power 1 is I squared is root negative 1 raised to the power 2, and the root will vanish with 2, so I get negative 1. I power 3 is negative I, and I power 4 is 1. So any multiples of 4, I power 4, I power 8, I power 12, I power 16, and so on, multiples of 4, I get 1. What about I power 4 n plus 4? I power 4 n plus 4 is composed of I power 4 n multiplying by I power 4. I power 4 n لوحدها يا شباب multiples of 4, so it equals 1. What about I power 4? I power 4 also equals 1. So 1 multiplying 1 equals 1. Here, what about I power 4 n plus 3? Yes, of course, composed of I power 4 n multiplying by I power 3. And what about I power 4 n? Multiples of 4. So it will be equals 1. And what about I power 3? I power 3, I have negative 1. So I have 1 multiplying by negative I, which I power 3, which is negative I, so the result is I. Let's take an example. Find each of the following the simplest form. I power 16. يلا شباب تفكر قبل ما اجيب السوليوشن. I power 16 multiples of 4. I power 4 times I power 4 times I power 4 times I power 4 all are equals 1. يعني أنا أقدر أقول to summarize any multiples of 4 at the power of I equals 1. تمام. What about I power 63? I power 63 equals I power 60 times I power 3. Why I choose 60? Why I choose 60? Because 60 is a multiples of 4. I can divide it easily. 60 by 4, you will get 15. So this will be I power 60 times I power 3, and I power 60 equals 1. And I power 3, I know it's equals negative I. What about I power 42? Yes, I power 42 is composed of I power 40 multiplying I power 2, and I power 40 is a multiples of 4, so I can replace it by 1 times I squared, which is negative 1. What about I power 101? I power 101 is composed of I power 100 multiplying I power 1. I power 100 is a multiples of 4, so I can replace it by 1, and I power 1, which is I. Finally, I have I power 4n plus 23. Concentrate with me. This problem is very important. I power 4n plus 23 composed of I power 4n times I power 23. What about I power 4n? Yes, whatever n is, it is a multiple of 4. So I can replace this with 1. The remainder is I power 23. And what? Again, what about I power 23? Yes, it's composed of I power 20 times I power 3. Why I choose 20? Because 20 is a multiple of 4. Ask yourself, is 23 can be divided by 4? No, decrease 1. Is 22 divisible by 4? No. Is 20 divisible by 4? Yes. So write I power 20 and write the remainder of the power, which is I power 3. I power 20 can be written as 1, and 1 times I power 3 is I power 3, and I power 3, as we talking before, with negative I. Another example. Find each of the following in the simplest form. بص يا شباب، طبعا انك تلاقي نيجاتيف في الباور دي مشكلة. طب اخلص منها ازاي؟ I power negative 19 can be written in the form of a fraction. Its numerator is 1 and its denominator is I power 19. You mean that I power negative 19 can be written as 1 over I power 19 in the denominator? Yes. طب what about numerator يا شباب؟ ال1. I want to get rid of 19. When I have I power anything times I power anything, you add the power. The times, when the bases are the same, add the power. And the divided, when the base is like each other, subtract the power. I want to subtract 19 from a power multiple of 4 and get a power with the positive sign. 19, ask yourself, what after 19 and the multiple of 4? A condition, important condition, must be a multiple of 4. 19 after 19 you find 20. Is 20 a multiple of 4? Yes. So write, replace 1 with I power 20. Here I find the common bases, write I, and here I find the divided, so I will subtract the power. 20 minus 19 you get 1, and I power 1 is I. What about I power 5 as the denominator? 1 over I power 5. I have to replace 1 with I to the power. And الباور ده يا شباب لازم يكون multiple of 4. طيب search. After 5 you find 6. Is 6 a multiple of 4? No. After 6, 7. Is 7 a multiple of 4? No. What about 8? Yes, a multiple of 4. So replace 1 with I power 8. I power 8. I power 5 as the denominator. So I see the common bases, right? I. Subtract 8 and 5 from each other. You get I power 3. What about I power 3 يا شباب? Yes, negative I. And here the solution set is positive or negative. You have to write. The question is find set, so you have to write the solution set equal positive or negative for I. Example 4. Find the solution set of the equation in the set of the complex number. Okay. 2x squared plus 18. I want to get rid of anything with x. But here I have plus 18. So convert plus 18 to the other hand side with negative sign, which is negative 18. So I have 2x squared equal negative 18. Divided both sides by 2, you get x squared equal negative 9. Taking square root for both sides to get x. خلاص عرفنا بقى شباب ان root negative 9 يعني root negative 1 times root 9. What about root negative 1? I can replace it by I. What about root 9? I replace it by 3. And don't forget positive or negative, because when you take any square root for any number, you have two answers, positive or negative. And don't forget, right, solution set, positive or negative, 3i. Example 5. find the solution set of the equation in the set of the complex number. دي هتبقى try by yourself، هتحلها وهراجعها معاك في الكلاس، بس هديك فكرتها. x squared plus x plus 1. Can I factorize? No, I can't. Can I solve by the general formula? Yes, I can. So this answer will be by using the general formula, by getting a equal 1, coefficient of x squared, b equal 1, coefficient of x, c equal 1 also, a equal 1, b equal 1, c equal 1. Substitute at the general formula law, which is x equal negative b positive or negative b squared minus 4ac under the root and all over. Part 2 of this lesson, equality of two complex numbers. Two complex numbers are equal if and only if. امتى two complex numbers بيبقوا equals؟ لو two real parts are equal and two imaginary parts are equal. أهم حاجة يكون real parts equal imaginary parts equal. Let's take an example to understand this. Find the value of x and y which satisfies the equation x minus 3y plus 2x plus y multiplying I. ركز. 2x plus y all multiplying I equals 6 plus 5i. You have to know that x minus 3y is the real part. At the right hand side 6 is the real part. What about imaginary? Imaginary is 2x plus y because it is multiplying by I. And in the right hand side you see 5i. So what is the imaginary part? Yes, 5. So you have to make equation real equal real and imaginary equal imaginary. Then from the left hand side you get real x minus 3y. From the right hand side you will get the real part which is 6. From the right. And what about the imaginary part? Imaginary part from the left hand side which is 2x plus y. Imaginary part from the right hand side which is 5. Now you have equation x minus 3y equals 6 and 2x plus y equal 5. You have to solve them together. X minus 3y equals 6 and 2x plus y equal 5. I want to get rid of one unknown variable and find the other. And when you find the other, substitute by its value in any equation as you want. Here I have 3y. Here I have only 1y. So I multiply all the equation by 3. Here I get x minus 3y equal 6 زي ما هي. 2x plus y equal 5 times 3. I will multiply the left hand side and the right hand side. Don't forget. 2x multiplying 3 I get 6x. Y multiplying 3 I get 3y. 5 multiplying 3 I get 15. I will add. Why I add? To eliminate negative 3y with positive 3y. Will eliminate together. X plus 6x I get 7x. 6 plus 5 I get 21. Here I get x equals 3. Now I have x. I find one unknown variable. What about the other? Take this x equals 3 and substitute here or here. I am going to substitute here. X minus 3y equals 6 given. So substitute x equals 3. 3 minus 3y equals 6. Can you get y? Yes. 3 will go to the right hand side by the opposite sign. So I will get 6 minus 3. So 6 minus 3 I get 3. So I have negative 3y equal 3. Divided both sides by negative 3. I will get y. Divided right hand side I get negative 1. So I solve and find the value x and y. Example 7. Find the value of x and y which satisfies the equation. زي ما اتفقنا شباب. real equal real. Real equal real. And imaginary equal imaginary. For x minus y equal 5 and 2x plus y equal 7. هعمل ايه؟ هعمل solving. 4x minus y equal 5 و 2x plus y equal 7. هي الايكويشن هنا جاهزه. جاهزه ان انا اعمل adding elimination negative y with y. تمام. 4x plus 2x you get 6x. 5 plus 7 you get 12. divided both sides by 6, you get x equal 2. Substitute x equal 2 in any equation, here or here, but I will substitute at this equation. 2x plus y equals 7. Substitute x equal 2 here. You get 2 multiplying 2, 4. 4 plus y equals 7. So converting 4 to the right hand side by the opposite sign, you get y. Example 8. Operation in the complex number. As we talk the equality of complex number, you take real equal real and imaginary equal imaginary. So what about operations? Also real with real and imaginary with imaginary. As I see in number 1, 3 plus 7i plus 5 minus 9i. Real with real, 3 plus 5 I get 8. 7i plus negative 9i, I get negative 2i. So real with real 8. 7 with negative 9, negative 2i. What about number 2? 2 minus 4i minus 5 minus I. Remember, negative will go at 5 and will go at I. Will it change the negative sign this to positive? 2 minus 5, real with real, I get negative 3. And the negative 4i, negative will become positive I get negative 3i. Number 3. 5 minus 2i multiply 5 plus 2i. Distribution method. Remember, 5 will multiply by 5 and the 5 will multiply by 2i. 5 multiplied by 5 and 5 will multiply by 2i. And here negative 2i will multiply by 5 and also negative 2i will multiply by 2i. So 5 multiplying 5 I get 25. 5 multiplying 2i I get 10i. Negative 2i multiply 5 I get negative 10i. Negative 2i multiplying 2i I get negative 4i squared. What about I squared? Yes, I squared equal negative 1. And I have negative 4 multiplying negative 1. I get positive 4. I find 10i will eliminate with negative 10i. So the remainder is 25 plus 4, which is 29. What about 1 minus I power 4? Yes, it's composed of 1 minus I squared all power 2. I will solve 1 minus I squared first of all, and when I find the answer, I will raise it to the power 2. 1 to the power 2, 1 minus I power 2, which is 1 minus I multiplying 1 minus I, distribution method. 1 multiplying 1, I get 1. 1 multiplying negative I get negative I. Negative I multiplying 1, I get negative I. Negative I multiplying negative I, remember, negative times negative, I get positive sign. I times I get I squared. What about I squared? Yes, equals negative 1. And positive sign, so I get negative 1. 1 minus 1 will eliminate together. What about negative I minus I? Yes, it's equal negative 2i. Am I finished? No. Remember, you have to square this because I have power 2 out of this bracket. Negative 2i raised to the power 2. When you see any power even, the negative sign will eliminate. 2 power 2 is 4 and I squared, remember. Negative 2 to the power 2, negative will eliminate and I will get 4. I power 2 اهي. طب I power 2 equals what? I power 2 equals negative 1. Yes, negative 1 multiplying 4, I get negative 4. The two conjugate numbers. The two numbers a plus bi and a minus bi are conjugate numbers. Take care. The complex number and its conjugate differ only in the sign. بمعنى فكرة الكونجوجيت يا شباب ان انت بتغير الساين بتاعة الايماجينري بارت. يعني انا مثلا عندي 2i minus 5، تفتكر الكونجوجيت هيكون ايه؟ it changed the sign only بتاعت ال 2i, so I get negative 2i and the real part as it is negative 5. ومحدش يقول لي لا ده انا هغير الساين بتاعت الميدل تيرم، لا. الكونجوجيت again changing the sign بتاعت imaginary part only. طيب what about 2i? Its conjugate is negative 2i. 3, what is its conjugate? 3 as it is, because this is the real part. You have to know that the sum of two conjugate is always real, and the product of two conjugate numbers is always real. Let's take an example to understand this. Simplify 10 over 3 plus I. First of all, you have I as the denominator, so you have to get rid of it. How can I get rid of it? I will multiply this fraction by 1, but replace 1 as a conjugate. How? First of all, what is the conjugate of 3 plus I? Yes, it changes the sign of I only. So the conjugate of 3 plus I is 3 minus I. So you have to multiply this fraction by 3 minus I over 3 minus I. Numerator with numerator, you get 10 times 3 minus I. Denominator with denominator, 3 times 3 you will get 9. I multiplying negative I, you get negative I squared. And remember, I squared equal negative 1. So negative I squared equal negative, multiplying negative 1, so you get positive 1. So 9 plus 1 is 10. Eliminate 10 as the denominator with 10 as the numerator, you get 3 minus I. What about 3 plus 2i over 2 minus 5i? Yes, of course, I will multiply it with conjugate. What is the conjugate of this? Look at the denominator. 2 minus 5i, its conjugate is 2 plus 5i, because again, conjugate is changing the sign of imaginary part only. Here I have negative sign, so the conjugate is 2 plus 5i. Multiplying this fraction with its conjugate as a fraction, 2 plus 5i over 2 plus 5i. Numerator is denominator, distribution method. Remember, 3 multiplying 2 get 6, 3 multiplying 5i get 15i, 2i multiplying 2 you get 4i, 2i multiplying 5i you get 2 with 5, 10, I with I squared, so I have 10i squared, and remember I squared equal negative 1, so 10 multiplying negative 1 you get negative 10. As the denominator, 2 multiply, here I find the perfect square. It's factorized. 2 and 2, 5i and 5i, negative and positive. I multiply this by the way. 2 multiplying 2, I get 4. Negative 5i multiplying 5i, I get negative 25i squared. What about I squared again? Yes, I squared equal negative 1, and I have negative 25 multiplying by negative 1, so I get positive 25. Collect like terms together as the numerator. 6 minus 10 I get negative 4. 15i plus 4i equal 19i. As the denominator I have 4 plus 25 which is 29. طيب دلوقتي يا شباب انا عندي في النيميريتور نيجاتيف 4 بلس 19i over 29. لازم تسيبها لي في صورة الريل والايماجينري زي هنا كده. عندي ريل بارت وعندي imaginary part. Here I have at the denominator 29 and I have positive sign. So I will take negative 4 over 29 as a real part as here. Put positive sign. I will take 19i over 29i. 19i over 29 as the imaginary part. Example 10. Simplify 2 plus I multiplying 1 minus I over 1 plus I multiplying 3 minus 2i. First of all, before simplify, remember, I have to solve this numerator and I have to solve this denominator. دي هتبقى try by yourself، هشوفها منك في الكلاس، بس هديك الفكرة بتاعتها. هتعمل distribution method في النيميريتور هتطلع answer. هتعمل distribution method في الدينومينيتور هتطلع answer. وهتظبط هتعمل collecting terms like terms with each other. وبعد ما تعمل collecting هتعمل multiplying conjugate. Example 11. If x equals 7 minus I over 2 minus I and y equals 13 minus I over 4 plus I. Prove that x and y are two conjugates. Then after proving, prove that again x squared plus y squared equals 16. ودي من المسائل المهمة جدا جدا يا شباب. طيب دلوقتي انت هتعمل ازاي proving ان x and y conjugates؟ طب قبل ما تفكر كده بص الاكس وبص الواي، هل هما في السمبلست فورم؟ لا. يبقى انا هشتغل على الاكس لوحدها الاول. simplest form by multiplying this fraction by conjugate, which is, yes, look at the denominator, find 2 minus I, so its conjugate will it change the sign of I, so it will be 2 plus I. So I will solve x first of all. 7 minus I over 2 minus I multiplying 2 plus I over 2 plus I. يلا شباب distributing method. 7 times 2 14, 7 times I 7I, negative I times 2 negative 2I, and negative I times I get 1. Denominator 2 times 2 4, negative I times I negative I square, which is equal 1. أجمع هيبقى عندي 15 plus 5I at the numerator, and the denominator 5. Take 5 as a common factor, or أعمل إيه؟ بالظبط أفصلهم، أخلي ال 15 over 5 as a real وال 5I over 5 as imaginary. طبعا 15 over 5 3, 5 over 5 1I, so x in its simplest form is 3 plus I. What about y? Like I do in x. 13 minus I over 4 plus I will multiply by the conjugate, and the conjugate of the denominator is changing the sign of I will get 4 minus I, numerator and denominator. Start multiplying, distributing method again. 13 times 4, 52, 13 times I, negative 13I, negative I times 4, negative 4I, negative I times negative I get negative 1. Denominator, 4 times 4, 16, I times negative I square, which is positive 1. So I have at the numerator 51 minus 17I, and the denominator 17. I will take real part with each other, 51 over 17, and 17 over 17I. Here is negative sign, equals 51 over 17 I get 3, and the negative sign as I see here, negative sign, 17 over 17 I get 1 I. So y equals 3 minus I, and x is 3 plus I. What do you notice? Yes, x is 3 plus I, and the y is changing sign of the imaginary part, negative I, so they are conjugates. أنا كده خلصت. الساين متغيرة، البوزيتيف بقت نيجاتيف، يبقى هو كده إيه؟ conjugate. What about proving x squared plus y squared equals 16? You have to get x squared. X squared you have to write 3 plus I power 2 and solve. Y squared you have to write 3 minus I power 2 and solve. x squared equals 3 plus I squared equal 9 plus, طبعا هعمل ال first square 9, ال second square I square, and first times second times 2 I get 6I. Here I find 9, I square is negative 1, and 6I, so 9 minus 1 plus 6I equal 8 plus 6I. What about y square? 3 minus I power 2, 3 power 2 9, negative I power 2 is positive I power 2 because negative will eliminate as the power is even. 3 multiplying negative I times 2, I get negative 6I. I squared I can replace it by negative 1. 9 minus 1 I get 8, and negative 6I as it is. What do you notice? If you add x squared, which is 8 plus 6I, with 8 minus 6I, you will get 16 as a real part, and the imaginary part will vanish. Positive 6I with negative 6I will vanish. So the answer is 16. So I prove. Example 12. Find the value of x and y that satisfies the equation. هنا مديك equation ال left hand side محتاج شغل، والرايت هاند سايد جاهز. الرايت هاند سايد عندك x plus y I. طيب الليفت هاند سايد النيموريتور هعمل ديستريبيوشن الاول. طب بعد ما اعمل ديستريبيوشن هلاقي 8 بلس اي، الدينومينيتور 3 بلس اي، ساعتها هعمل multiplying conjugate. But what is the conjugate? Yes, changing the sign of the imaginary part at the denominator, which is 3 minus I over 3 minus I. Again, distributing method. You get 24 minus 8I plus 3I plus 1 over 9, which is 3 times 3, 9. I times I, 1. I have at the numerator 25 minus 5I by collecting like terms, 24 with 1 and 8I with 3I. Denominator is 10. So هعمل ايه؟ تمام، separate real part and imaginary part، لان انا لازم بعد ما اعمل simplify اسيب الحل بتاعي into two real parts and imaginary part. Here I found 25 over 10 minus 5 over 10 I equal 25 over 10, you get 2.5. Negative sign اهي. 5 over 10 I get half I. Equality between x plus yi and 2.5 minus half I. You find that x equal 2.5 and you find y equals negative half. Don't forget the negative sign. وبكده يا شباب نكون خلصنا lesson 1 and lesson 2. اتمنى تكونوا فهمتوا، واللي يقف معاه اي حاجه او يحتاج اي سؤال في الكلاس ان شاء الله. السلام عليكم.